In fact, it is time. What's up, everybody? Happy Sunday. I actually lost track of the timer because I'm sitting here and I'm looking at a couple other options we might have for tonight. What's up, everyone? Everybody had a fantastic Sunday. I had a pretty chill one. I was hoping we're going to go foil riding today. Unfortunately, Agent Zero woke up and he was not doing so hot. So we ended up just having a very chill day at home today. He started feeling a little bit better later in the day, but so much of the day had already gone. There was no chance for us to go riding, unfortunately. So he ended up after a very long nap. Because like I said, he was pretty crummy this morning. We just played on the VR headset all morning. He loves Beat Saber. He's getting better at it. It's funny because he tries to like swing his entire arm like he's bringing down a hatchet. I was like, it's not called, beat chopping wood, dude. It's Beat Saber. He'll get it. He's getting better at it. Let's see. As I was reading through some documentation, something that came up is this thing called hyperbrowser. But again, this is the cloud browser for an AI agent. This is not what I want. So we're trying to look for a couple other options in here. I'm willing to bet we can make this one work. Let's gotta figure out what the issue with this is. So let me try running this and see what happens. We got an MCP error that it was closed. Okay, I think what we're going to need to do is we're going to do a quick modification to the Docker file for browser. Because we're going to use a very specific use case for it. So what we'll do is we will go modify it and we're going to just throw this. Actually, probably what we're going to have to do, we have to create like an entry point script, have it go ahead and run MCP and basically not have any kind of arguments to it. Because what's jacking it up is this right here. We're building our list of arguments, but for some reason, this last argument, which should be passed over into the Docker container, isn't. We're getting everything being passed to Docker, and it's messing up the works. So I think that's what we're going to do here. So let's come up here. Let's vim our Docker file here. Let's see, so our entry point is just browser use. Okay, so I think what we'll do is, let's go make a new, actually, let's look at how this thing actually builds out here. Let's see, what do we copy into this? Wait, that's it? That's the only copy command? How's he getting browser use even in here? There's our Chromium browser. Hey, Squid, what's up, man? Happy Sunday, dude. Hope your day has been going fantastic. Oh, there it is. Why didn't you register that? Yeah, so it's copying everything from here to /app. So what we can do is probably it sets the workdir to /app too. So since it's copying everything from this directory over into there, we can just go make entry point sh. We can have it run what we want it to, which is going to be browser use. And we just throw a tac MCP onto it. So let's go ahead and do that. So what we'll do is we will do entry point.sh. And in here, we're just going to put a quick shebang. Bin dash. We could even probably get away with just bin sh. We'll do that. And we're going to do browser use tac MCP. That's it. That's the only thing we have to do for this. So we'll do that. And then we do need to actually modify the Docker file, which I'm just going to make our entry point We're gonna make this entry point dot sh. Oh, there we go. I think that should work. So then what we need to do is we need to rebuild this, but I don't have the build page in here. So let's go ahead and delete that one. Let me see. Docker images, browser use. So let's get rid of that one. Docker image rm, browser use latest. And then what we'll do is we'll just rebuild that. So Docker build, t, give it a tag. We'll call this one browser use. And then we just tell it what to build. Oh, there we go. So we'll let this cook for just a minute. Now, the good news is if I screwed up the entry for the command line, we should be good. Oh, actually, this built really fast. I forgot because we didn't change a ton in the beginning. Everything prior to this stage, I know that's probably really hard to see because the black on blue. All this stuff was actually already cached in Docker. So we just had to modify everything from here forward. So now let's try this again. Let's try Docker run. We'll do it in interactive. Actually, I don't know if you even need that, or if you need just for Docker exec, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway. And then we'll do browser use latest. Okay, so yeah, it says entry point not found in the path, which is what I expected. I couldn't quite remember if we needed to modify that, but that's fine because we just changed this to like that. And then what we'll do is delete that one and then rebuild it. Now the bummer is it has to do the complete recopy, but it's fine. Even then, I forgot what I want. It's not this, but we want to do a tech rm. Permission denied. What? That's weird. Here, let's actually just bring up the container then. I think we do tech entry point, and just give it like bin bash. Is it entry? Oh, that's not it. Damn it, what is this? Docker run entry. I forgot what the argument is. Yeah, tech entry point. Did I have a typo in it? Yeah, I did. I'm an idiot. Just tech entry. I had entry point, tech point. I'm a dummy. Do we not have bash in here? Maybe it needs to be sh. Let's see. Oh, no. I'm a further idiot. We actually do need the tech IT in there. All right. Exit. Let me change this back to bash. There we go. All right, so there is our entry point. So for some reason it said, oh, you know why? Because entry point was not shemotted. That's why. Actually, this is a good example because... So what it's doing here is it's duplicating everything that was in here, right? We made this entry point script here. It knows how it's not executable. So let's go ahead and mod that real quick. So we're going to do the quick and dirty way. And then let's see. There we go. Let's get rid of this. And then let's rebuild this guy. So we'll rebuild this browser real fast. And then let's go try it out. So we're still going to override the entry point here. Actually, I'm not going to override the entry point. I'm going to let it just run. Hey, it's actually running though. So here, let's bust out of this. Die already. Now I am going to override the entry point. So what we're going to do is we're going to go run the entry point script directly. All right, cool. So it's running. We've got it kind of up. UI post hog. That's weird. Didn't we look at this before? Got a 404 on it. Weird. Anyway. But the good news is it looks like it's up and it's running here. So one thing I can also do is check this out. So we've got this shell up here running the Docker container. If I actually want to drop into it, I can just spawn myself another shell using Docker exec. And we can do the same thing. And then actually take that back. I need to Docker PS, find out what the name of this is. And this one is Crazy Bashkara. Hey, Nelshot, what's up? Are there any ways to get someone to take my CompTIA test Sec Plus for me? I don't have to study due to my career. There are, but I don't know what they are because I just took them all myself. What kind of, if you've been in IT for a long time, Sec Plus is probably not that hard. What's your kind of work experience like? Let's see here. Okay, so we got the name of the container. Let's go bust into that. So we'll do Docker exec. So if you want to know what this is, this basically says, give me an interactive terminal. That's what this does. And then we give it the name of what we want to run, which is that, or where we want to execute it, and we just give it the command we want. Yeah. So now if we run a PS, really PS isn't in there. You're killing me, Smalls. Hey Dan, what's up, man? Yeah, because the telemetry is enabled, but I'm not worried about it because when we actually execute this from inside HackBot, telemetry is going to be disabled. I've already got that prepended right here. And I double checked even to make sure that our API key was working correctly. It looks like for some reason, the problem really was this TAC MCP was not being passed over. It was getting passed to Docker and not through Docker to the container for some weird reason. So we'll make a little modification to this. Eventually, when I get ready to publish, like, I don't know, we'll call it the alpha build of HackBot or like the very first release of it. One of the things we'll do is we'll actually have Docker repositories set up so that way we can have controlled Docker containers for people, or we'll have something where it's very easy to go build the containers and not have to like clutter up the system. Because for this one, we had to clone down the entire browser use code repo, right? That's a suboptimal solution. I don't really have any experience. I started hacking on my own, and now I have turned it into a better life. I've learned that I need stuff like certs for whatnot. Well, that's what, so you said you've got a career now, so I mean that's cool. I'm assuming you're trying to shift into cybersecurity. What are you kind of doing right now? And if you've already been kind of like hacking away and stuff for your own, that's going to give you a leg up on taking the Security Plus. There's a lot of ways they can, but also it's going to wonder about kind of standard IT operations. Military. Dude, that explains so much. All right, say no more, brother. So back to your original question. Can I encourage you to have someone sit for a certification for you? I can't, man. Do I know where to do it? I absolutely don't. But one thing I could say is that if you feel comfortable in your security knowledge, I would say just take a little bit of time out for the day, even if it's just 30 minutes or something, and go find like an exam practice thing. Because the Sec Plus, as far as I know, anybody in chat, correct me if I'm wrong, it's just multiple choice questions. I don't believe there's even a practical portion to it. It's been a very long time since I looked at the Sec Plus, and I have not taken it either. So a lot of times people will have like practice questions just to like get you prepped for it. That's the main thing I did for my CISSP even. Hey, Brobo, what's up, man? What are PVQs? Oh, match blank with blank. Gotcha. Those are pretty much still. A lot of times you can, a bit of those, and you can do a process of elimination on it to figure out the rest. Gotcha. Performance-based questions. Gotcha. I am not familiar with Professor Messer. Nullshot, somebody you might actually go check out. He's not directly related to the Security Plus group, but go check out Tyler Ramsby. So. And the reason why I'm plugging him so much is because he has a very pop-in Discord. And so this guy right here, Hack Smarter, Tyler Ramsby, great guy. He's got a huge Discord with lots of folks who are trying to learn for this. They would probably be able to better recommend resources to you for something like the Security Plus. So super great guy. I talk to him every once in a while, and like I said, his Discord is just full of a bunch of hard chargers trying to get their stuff completed. So they would have a really great. They would probably be able to better recommend resources than I can. Yeah, I do like Tyler. He's a good guy. When I had everything, there's actually something I'm trying to work on with him. I'm not trying to do it super quickly, especially since I know he's very busy. For anybody who doesn't know, he's getting ready to leave his full-time job. He's working as an offensive security guy too, and be doing content creation full-time and education. And I don't blame him. I think that's a really great thing to do. So I'm trying not to overload more on his plate. I had a project I wanted to work with him on, but it's a very nice to have, something that is important to me, but I'm kind of leaving it on the back burner for now. Let's see here. So if we take this out. Oh no, don't do that. There we go. So now if we run this, it should hopefully let us get our MCP up and running. So let's give this the good old college try. Oh, come on, man. Docker run requires at least one argument. What do you mean at least one argument? There's 4 arguments in here. Bro. Let me try something real quick. Take that out. Maybe I don't have to do it like this. Maybe we can just collapse this down. That's right. I'm gonna try this a couple others. We're gonna do a little hacky hack here. And by hacky hack, I mean we're just gonna fiddle around with this. Let's see. What if we can just collapse this whole thing into one line? Maybe we actually don't need everything in here. No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I see what's happening here. All right, fine. Let's see. Take this out, and then this whole thing has to be a format string. There we go. Now we're talking. All right, so this is delete after use, anonymize telemetry, get our Anthropic key from the environment, and then the Docker container to run. All right, I'm just going to comment this out for now. You could probably pass the Sec Plus studying 30 minutes a day for a month or less. Yeah, that's true. Nell, do you have like a time requirement for it, or is it just something they want you to have for maybe advancement, give you any particular time frame on it? Yeah, Brumbo, from everything I have heard through the grapevine, that pretty much meshes with what I know about the Sec Plus. Let's try running this again. Let's see what happens. Womp womp. Didn't like that. Let's see. Do I need to escape this for some reason? Because I noticed here what we're getting is getting unknown flag. For some reason, it thinks these are unknown flags for Docker run. I was like, they're absolutely the correct flags for Docker run. What are you doing, Smalls? What are you doing? Okay, so it didn't like us escaping that out right there. Let me see something. So for this multi-serve MCP client, is there, instead of using a command, could we call a function? Because what we could do then is it needs to have its own command in here. It sucks. All right, let me think. Let me read through the rest of this error here. Let's see if there's anything else coming back on it. So I fixed that. Let's take a look. All right. So for some reason, the create standard IO, so let's see, client server params. So we had unhandled error in task group 1. We had a sub exception, and it just says connection closed. See, surely we're not the only ones who have come across this. Let's see. So this is from the multi-serve MCP client. If anybody else has run across. To run a Docker container locally that connects to an assistant, use a dedicated MCP endpoint to connect directly to the assistant. All right. VGA H2O, thank you for coming online. Welcome in, and a happy Sunday to you. Hope everything's been going fantastic, man. That's our remote. What about our local MCP server? Let me see, because they're using the same library we are. But in this case, see how they're using a URL instead of a command? Let's see. This is using the Cloud Desktop. Okay, local MCP server. So start the MCP server providing your Pinecone API key, yada, yada, yada. Oh, that's cool. We could even just do it this way with the environment. Okay. Well, this is for Claude. This isn't for exactly what you're doing. This is for Claude Desktop. That's how to use it with cursor. So considering that they're executing command, this has to be going through standard IO also. And this looks like it's the exact same as what we had kind of up here. And that's pretty much how we had this structured, right? So this is definitely not working, so I'm just going to back that out. And let's uncomment this out. I bet what we need to do is... Let's double check something first. So for the MCP server, because I'm noticing these guys, they're not putting that in here, right? The typical format to it. So probably what we need to do is perhaps give it this environment block. So let's go look at this real quick. We pass the envs this way. So MCP adapters, client. All right, so here's our client right here. So to give an example here, does this not take envs for arguments? That seems like a big flaw here. I'm not seeing a way to pass environment variables over to this. What's the structure of this that it's taking? So like when we execute it, right, we're executing it, we're passing in this singular object to it right here, which is a dictionary with a single key, which maps to a dictionary. If we look at our init here, so where's connections actually? I'm trying to see if this structure is defined anywhere in here. Which if it was, it would have been defined up here. So I'm guessing maybe it doesn't have a dedicated structure for that. I was hoping we could, because then we could kind of dig into it. RIP. All right, let's take a look here quick. So when we initialize this, what's it running? So it's setting connections, dictionary of string, whatever string is here. Okay, so it takes a connections, which is defined as a string, to a connection. So the string is going to have to be browser use. This would be the connection object here. Let's see, so after we define this, we find get tools. So let's go find get tools in here. All right, so here's get tools. It takes in whatever, their server name. Shut up, baby, I know it. Hey, Northy, what's up, man? Happy Sunday. And Buick Grand National. What's up, man? Welcome on in. Somewhere in here, I mean, it has to be able to define what this is. So let's see. Self-connection value. So the transport in here has to be defined as standard I/O. Here we go. So what we want to do is we want to go over to sessions and look at the standard I/O connection. So let's back this up real quick here. Sessions. Let's go look at the standard I/O. No, but you're not taking it right now, are you? So please. Oh, okay. Let's say, please don't let me distract you right now, bro. Go focus on that. I took the OSCP twice. I barely failed it the first time. Absolutely blew it out of the park the last time. I missed one privilege escalation. But I'll tell you the biggest difference I did between those two. Now, granted, this was the old form. This was not the new enhanced lab that they have now. Because I originally took it in 2010, about there, 2009, 2010-ish, and when it was brand new. And when I retook it in like 2018, the course hadn't changed much. So I'm guessing the exam, and I know the exam structure didn't change much. I didn't actually take it I didn't take the exam in 2010. I just went through the course. I went to actually go try and take it and pass it in 2018. And that was the time I didn't pass. I failed that one. And then took it again in 2019 and blew it out of the water. But the difference between those two attempts was I absolutely destroyed it the second time through, and I did maybe about 25% of like the scanning that I had done before. I did much smaller, more frequent scans rather than like just doing a kitchen sink scan where I'm throwing everything at it and then trying to parse through the information. Instead, I took a lot more logical, okay, well, I see this, let's expand on that, figure it out, okay, that's a dead end. Let's look at this. Boom, boom, boom. That helped me out so much more when I was going through. Let's see. Oh, it does have an ENV directory. Okay, cool. So even though they don't mention it anywhere, see, we've got our transport, which has to be standard I/O. And then we've got ENV. We could also do encoding if we wanted to. Nice. All right, so we should be able to essentially copy this kind of structure right here. In fact, I'm just going to straight up copy it. Just like this. And then what we'll do is we're going to take this. Actually, I take it back. I need to do something different. I believe this will set like that, anonymize telemetry. And then this will just set to false. And then we'll copy this guy right here. And eventually we'll have to go back and make this more robust because right now everything is running through Claude. Eventually this will support multiple, what is it? Did I screw that up? I did. Boop, like that. Actually, I don't even need that. I can just do get env like this. Boop, there we go. Excellent. Eventually, this will support additional language models. So I was going to hit like the big three. So like OpenAI. I think actually we'll probably just do OpenAI, Anthropic, and OpenRouter. We'll try to see if we can get OpenRouter to work in this. And then once that's all good, then I'm gonna call that pretty decent there. Let's see. Missing that. There we go. Cool. Let's see if this will actually get it to run now. Let's try that. Since we can just pass that environment variable indirectly, because for some reason, this is the part that was messing it all up, was it was spazzing out on the execution format. I took the Security Plus in my first 2 months learning cybersecurity because I thought I was invincible after finishing the Google cybersecurity certification. Failed it bad. Took it again last month. Failed it by 2 points. Retaking it next month. You'll get it, man. Some people also, you have to remember, just are not good test takers. That's a legit thing, and I don't really have a lot of good ways to help with that because I've been a naturally good test taker. So what I would say is you have to kind of just think about it like any other problem. Look at, okay, what's causing me this issue? Is there something I can do, even if it's a little ridiculous, that you can do to, let's say maybe you get testing anxiety. Okay, cool. Can I do something to kind of distract myself? Or you could even do like desensitization type training, where you find something that makes you a little bit apprehensive. Maybe you take a small test every day, and like you even have like a friend come in and administer it to you, and make it short, 5 questions or something. And then your goal is not to finish the test, it's to figure out, okay, where's the anxiety coming from and how can I do this? Try to make it as real as possible. Keep it short in the beginning, and then maybe just start lengthening out a little bit. Try to find a way to get that under control. And I know that's easier said than done. It's the only thing I can think of from my limited perspective that might be useful. The gap from the first to second attempt was 7 months. Dude, there's such a pain too, because certs are so heavily required, kind of like to break into a lot of IT, particularly like in security. And so once you get in through the door, the certifications rapidly, like over the next 3 years even, they drop off in importance. And I usually always tell folks, think of it like this, is when you're trying to break into the security, like IT security field, certifications usually in the beginning, when you're just trying to get your foot in the door, account for about 80%, and your attitude and like some interesting work you've done, like you've got a neat lab setup, that's like another 20%. And then that just inverts over the next 3 years, where really what you've done in your work and your experience make up that 80%. Certifications don't become as important. Yeah, it's like a starter kit, exactly. The bootstrapper. Pale horse, what's up, brother? Hadn't seen you in a little bit. Glad to see you're still amongst us. All right, let's try running this. Let's see what happens here. Rip-a-roni. What do we got? Docker run requires at least one argument. I gave you an argument, you turd. So our command is Docker. We're running here. Okay, so for some reason it thinks we're not. Let me take a look at something, because it looks like they pretty much copied this example here, right? Yeah. I mean, we have ours formatted this exact same way. I think we're missing a critical component though, which is I think we need to have at least the I parameter in here. Let me see what this actually does. Docker. Okay. Where are you? There we go. Yeah, so TAC I makes this interactive. Keeps standard in open and available if it's not attached. And then TAC T is basically allocate a pseudo TTY so you can interact with it. I think that might have been the issue here, is it's not understanding what we're actually running. Hopefully that's it. Let's try. Nope. Unknown shorthand flag in TAC. In TAC E, there is no unknown short. Oh, That'll do it. It was cramming all this together is what was happening. Brain kind of checked out for a while. Dude, you're talking to the king of checkout, because with all the stuff I had going in the last year, yeah, I was checked out for quite a while. I still kind of am in some respects. It's not an argument, it's just a contradiction. Why do you hate me so much? Let me look at this again real quick. So here's our standard I/O connection. So in our client, this gets used in 2 places, which is basically just a definition. So that's a streamable HTTP connection, SSE. Okay, so here's where it's building all these, and then it defines a parameter called connection. So where is connection actually used? So this one takes into a connection and brings back an async iterator. Maybe it needs a tag name? I don't think so. So all the errors we've been getting seem to indicate that it's executing Docker run and only Docker run for some reason. Like, for some reason, the rest of the parameters aren't being executed. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of digging in through the code right now, because I may go throw in some additional debugging. Like, we'll go into the library and actually see, like, what is it trying to do here? So for create connection, it takes in this connection variable here. Where's this? Okay, so here's standard I/O. So if the connection is this, okay, cool. So what are you doing here? Killing me, Smalls. Hey, Rev, what's up, dude? Forgot to specify yesterday C2 testing that I was doing for the TCP payload. Main reason is to have a TCP callback server, so I use for other things. Well, I don't have a VPS on port 80 callbacks on a dedicated IP, so it's more like making use of what I can. Gotcha. What was that? You said there were a couple you were testing. You said you tested Mythic and Sliver. And then there was one more that you were testing in there, wasn't? What was that third one? May have been 4, but I remember there was at least 3. This creates our session here. Adaptix. You know what? Let me take a quick peek at Adaptix, because I have not... I've not looked at Adaptix. Also, Rep, have you thought about looking at Havoc also? Havoc could be another possibility. I would be surprised if Havoc did not have a TCP profile that you could use. Somehow I doubt you're doing radiology. Let's clarify. Post-exploitation adversarial emulation framework made for pen testers. Cool. Oh, wait, you know what? I think I have seen this before, because I remember how much it looked kind of like, you know, Cobalt Strike. Imitation is flattery. And you know what? Let's see here. And there is not a single bit of Java to be found in the codebase. That's already a bonus. See if somebody's got this. Nice. Oh, I love my boys over at Bad Sector Labs. They have a Ludus Adaptix C2 role that you can use. Nice. So I was just thinking, something to make my life more miserable is eventually, once I get HackBot to a good place, I don't want to stop working on it right now. I did want to go back and revisit making some fun stuff in Ludus. One of those things would be what I like to call affectionately polymorphic labs. So labs that can be more or less procedurally generated and have certain criteria attached to them, and let it go through and build it. And I was just thinking, I was like, I wonder if I could actually go set it up to where we could randomly select like a particular C2 agent to install, or a C2 program that we wanted to use. And it's like, okay, cool, yeah, here's your product. And by the way, the client said you have to use this C2 framework. Just as like a little extra bit of stress. I thought that'd be pretty funny. Havoc doesn't have a TCP profile like that? Interesting. So you're down to Adaptix and Sliver. Gotcha. I mean, you're working with some fairly odd requirements. I get them. I don't necessarily agree with them, but I get them. Yes. Not sponsored by Jocko. Green Jocko, which you can't even see because of the green screen. Yet. Eventually... Hang on. Let me check something real quick. Bye. All right. I want to go look at something real fast here. Okay. So in here, I have approximately 225 recorded live streams. Let's see. Some of them are kind of bunk, so let's round it down to 220. I have done the not sponsored by Jocko yet bit, pretty much every single one of those. So eventually I'm going to go make a supercut of them and just send that to Jocko. It's going to be like 10 minutes of not sponsored by Jocko yet. Just bam, 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 bam. Let's see here. All right, anyway, back to Adaptix. This sounds pretty cool, though. Like I said, I have not messed with that one yet, so... All right, so let me see what we've got here. So missing, so this is error checking. We're checking we've got transport, gives a value of what it has to be. RAMs. So if our transport is standard IO, so how are we making this? I don't even get what this is doing. This create session is supposed to return an async iterator. All I see it do is raising values, though. I'm so confused right here. Dr. Lou, what's up, man? I'm doing pretty good, man. Had a rather chill day today. Worked my butt off yesterday. I was trimming a bunch of tree branches that are brushing up against the roof of the house, and I was afraid they were going to damage the shingles. So I was outside sweating it for most of the day. Working with a little tiny, dinky electric chainsaw, but it worked. It got the job done. I think you're missing a command to give the image after the image name. Let's go double check. I could have very well done that. Let's see. So we have docker run remove I, and then here is the image right here. I mean, so we should be good with that. Let's go double check it. Make sure I didn't, let me just kill all these. Oh, wait, dang it. I meant to actually do that. Hang on one second. Let me split this. Permission denied. You're killing me, Smalls. think I can give it a, let's see. I think we can also give it tacu root. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to blow this container away anyway, so I don't care if I pollute it by doing a big apt update. What I want to do is, PS. What's it called? Is it proc? Dang it. I can't remember what it is. It's proc PS, that's it. Let me just install that real quick. So I just want to see what it's doing. PS, AUX, C. Okay, cool. So yeah, look, it ran browser use with our MCP option, so we're good there. We've got it. So, all right. Now let me back this sucker up. Let's exit out of this. Kill that. Exit. We're good there. I have not got to catch Jocko's podcast in so long, Noipi. I used to have a very long commute. It was easily, I'd be in the car 2 to 2.5 hours a day, round trip to my office. And that was when I got all my podcast listening time in. And now I don't hardly drive anywhere, so I don't listen to podcasts hardly anymore. Let's see. Dark Tangent took on Hello Cluely. Totally explodes Cluely, and you can use unlimited Pro Cloud or OpenAI models for free. What? Let's take a look at this. I got to very briefly meet Dark Tangent just in line at DEF CON. We were chilling. We were getting in line for breakfast, and he was right there next to us. So we got to chat for him for a little while. Seemed like a decently nice fella to me. I used to. Now I work from home, Noipi, so my commute is a 15-foot walk from the breakfast table to my office. Let's see. Oh, actually, this is from Evie. Lead the ethical hacking division of Dark Tangent. Yeah, because Cluely actually got pretty well ripped apart. Somebody did a very basic reverse engineer on it, and had the like entire, what was it? The entire system prompt was just baked into it. It was really dumb. Premium bypass vulnerability, nice. GraphQL privilege escalation, excellent. Background data collection, not cool. Exposed database credentials, no way. 83,247 compromised user counts. Okay, hang on. Let me bookmark this because as much as I want to, I'm going to save it for the news stream. So we'll cover it on Tuesday night. We'll go in depth on it. All right, Dr. Nuve, I got that saved. Because we'll go in depth into it and break it down in the news stream, because I definitely want to go over that. Cluely sounded like they had a pretty shoddy vibe code come out. And like they were just doing everything absolutely horrible, from what I can tell. I drive a Prius? God, no. No. I used to have, I don't remember what it was called, but it was a Honda hybrid, whatever theirs was, back in the day. And it was okay. It sucked going up hills. I did get like 40 miles to the gallon. Then I got a Kia, like an all-gas Kia. I still get 40 miles to the gallon. And now I can go uphill. With West Coast gas prices, I'd take a Prius. Dude, I know, it's nuts. Let's see. So where is this actually being used in here? What is being returned from this? I'm very confused. So it checked for transport. If transport... Oh, so here it yields a session. Yields a session. Yields a session. Okay. Oh, here we go. I finally found it. So it does this create studio session with the params as a session. So where does this actually get done? So here's our inputs. So it yields an initialized client. Okay. And this was specifically our standard I/O session. So let me see how they're handling the args in here. Because there's something funky about the arg parsing that's happening. Dude, no, I would love to get a truck. It would make going to do like a lot of the ATV stuff much simpler. And right now, I basically have to rely on my father-in-law to do all that. And, dude, truck prices are just abso-freaking-lutely baked out of their minds. And so I'm not buying a truck right now. It's insane. I would really like to have a truck. I'm not paying as much as they want for a pickup truck. Especially not one that would be big enough to hold my entire family. Absolutely not. Okay, so here's our standard I/O server params, and here's where we take in our arguments and our environment. What do you think about this? So from MCP, they're importing this. So now we got to go find where in MCP this is. Where's this defined? Where's MCP? Oh, is this actually being installed as part of PIP? Is that where that's actually coming from? Suboptimal. Source MCP, and then what was it we were looking for? We were looking for standard I/O server parameters. Go find that one. It's probably under. I don't know. Let's go look for it. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so there's our args list. So it's a list of strings. So, Noipi, I actually used to do that whenever my wife and I both used to work in downtown Fort Worth. And so, literally, kind of Fort Worth looks kind of where we were. There's this big, like, river that runs through there called the Trinity. And then there's this giant bridge that kind of runs over it. And then you've got some trails that kind of come across and do this thing right here. Essentially, I worked kind of over here in downtown, and my wife worked over here at another building. So what she would do is drop me off in the morning with my bike. I would hop on it, hop on my little bike. Wait, I'm not even showing it. It's up here. I didn't move the iPad down to the right spot. Here we go. There we go. So we had this little river right here. There was a bridge that ran over it. And I'd hop on my little bike, and there was just about 5 miles of trails I could ride pretty much all the way right to where she worked. And so I went to work before she did. I got off before she did. So that's how I got my exercise every day, is I basically just biked like 5 miles over to where she was. And then we packed up and drove home. That was a nice time. It didn't last for too long because I got a new job, but it was nice while it lasted. Yep, I realized I had it on the wrong window pane. Let's see, so where's args being used in this? where's our server params being used right here? So it's using the standard IO client, which is probably also coming from here. Yep, there's standard IO client. All right, read stream, write stream. So we're going to get the executable for our process. We're going to await this, create a compatible process, our command, our args here. Let's go see where this is defined right here. So this is line 123. It's defined down here. So how are these args being handled? That's what I need to know. So using create Windows process, that's defined on line 136 of a different file. List of the command line arguments. All right. So literally, I cannot figure out why it is spazzing out what we've got here, because these look like they are legitimately formatted correctly. Yeah, we're all good, pal. Like I said, this is also kind of like a learning stream. I'm learning a lot of stuff as we go through this, so that's part of the reason why I'm explaining it too, because it helps reinforce the learning part. So what we've got is we're being tracking down the code to see what this is actually doing. So we're passing in this entire object. It's essentially starting a command line in here, not a problem. But for some reason, when this happens, it's just absolutely spazzing out on us when it's thinking about this. So let me give this another shot. I want to leave these portions off right now. In fact, I'm gonna just, for sanity's sake, reformat this and make sure I've got it right. Pull up the terminal here. Let's try this. So I'm gonna do docker run. We're gonna do rm, make it interactive. We're going to pass in, maybe though this is actually not going to pass in anything because these are blank in this environment, but that's fine. I'm still going to just do it anyway. And see, it's failing because, let me do this. Let's do something real quick. We're going to export this to get that error to stop. Export. There we go. We're say equals false right there. And now when I run this, because the Anthropic key is not in this environment, but anonymized telemetry is now in here, so it should ignore it. So let's run this again, see what it does. I mean, it looks like it's running. I mean, there we see browser use actually running. Trusting Kilby. So if we want to enter this one, copy that. So we can do docker run, or actually this would be a docker exec. Do tac it, and then we're gonna run as root. We're gonna run bin bash, and then we give it the container name. This right here, Trusting Kilby. Oh, I got this backwards. Bin bash. There we go. Apt update. Apt install. Proc keys. Yep, it's up and it's running right there. Oop. Surely someone else. I cannot believe that I would be the first person to run into this issue. Let's see. Try standard IO MCP from Docker. Hey, Bottleneck, what's up, dude? Let's see if Ricardo has any wisdom for us. All right. So we can have it connect to a standard I/O, or we could have a remote connection, which is actually interesting. I did not know, because I haven't looked at MCP too deeply. I didn't realize you could even have a standard I/O style in here. That's actually kind of cool. And it looks like this format style is pretty standard, right? Look, bitch, run, bam. It's just it's going. Finch, not bitch. And this is very similar to, it looks like a container that we're running there. So weird. If this is a syntax error, I don't know what the heck it could be. Actually, to it. Let me double check something here, because he's essentially running the same thing we did. Command, Finch, which is the base binary, and then the options. Yep, I mean, the command line looks identical. Run, tac, RAM, tac I, tac E, environment variable, tac E, environment variable, name. That's it. Why is it just absolutely spazzing out on me? Let me try something. I'm just going to mess around with it. So for some reason this it doesn't find that it likes. It's weird. Hold on. From what I'm seeing here. I don't think this is... Hold on. If this works, this is going to be stupid, because it shouldn't work this way. Okay, yeah. Definitely should not have worked like that, which is good. If it had worked, I was going to be pissed. That makes no sense. So when we run it with this configuration, it's saying that we're getting the help like, hey, we don't know this shorthand flag. I. I'm gonna try something dumb. Because dumb is my specialty. So I'm gonna have it just run echo And then I'm going to see what the heck is it passing through here. Well, that would have been nice if it had actually done it. Dang it, I forgot. Because it's only going to return what comes back in standard error. Dang it. The other example used Tack Interactive. Would that matter? It shouldn't matter because they should be interchangeable. And plus, this is using Finch, but if I remember correctly, Finch is basically a way to run... Yeah, it's an open source container client from AWS. And typically, whenever you're trying to open source and usurp somebody, you just use their same syntax format. Just for grins and giggles, we can double check it, but it should be that those are both identical commands. TAC-I versus TAC-TAC interactive. Yeah. Maybe for some reason it doesn't... That would be weird if it didn't like the shorthands. I'm actually willing to try it at this point because it makes no freaking sense. Let's see if we just get any difference here. Yeah, so it's still, for some reason, so what it's doing here is acting like we just ran the command. If I just run docker run, this is the error that we get, right? Docker run requires at least one argument. That's the part that's idiotic. I was like, but we passed a butt ton of arguments to it. Look at this. What are you doing? Why do you hate me? Let's see. Run MC. See. Standard IO MCP server in Docker. I already looked at this one. Yeah, this is what we were just looking at with Finch. And I'm pretty sure these guys even said do the exact same thing here. Yeah, I mean, this is almost verbatim what we've got, the exact same structure. Command is docker, args, run. Aside from a little bit of syntax sugar, this is identical. We'll just do that for now. It doesn't change anything. The underlying effect is exactly the same, just visually it's different. Yeah, they're doing the exact same thing. What the heck? What did I just do? Will that make any difference if I just swap the parameters around? Nope. This is so freaking weird. Let's see if I can try something real quick. Let's see, Python OS get command. Can it find like a particular binary? Let's see if we can just make this workable. Find execute. that's another example to it. Got any bright ideas for me there, Docker guys? Let's see. Super Gateway, MCP streamable HTTP server from Standard IO. Okay. So this runs an MCP Standard IO based servers over SSE or WebSockets. Useful for remote access debugging and connecting to clients where MCP is only or the MCP only supports Standard IO. I mean, that sounds cool, but unless I could like plug other features into this, I don't know if I necessarily want to even do this. Like, I could see potentially using this if, for example, essentially what we're talking about right here is we've got Python, right? And in theory, this should do a Docker run. Docker run, there you go. And we should have a standard IO connection between the two of them, right? Standard IO. Handwriting is atrocious. Let's clean this. So a Docker run command, and we should be able to connect over standard IO between them. Yeah, Fort, they work just fine. That's what I was just testing as a sanity check. We come over here, do a Docker run. It works just fine. Essentially, once we translate this over, we put Docker here, run, interactive, RM, pop, 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 pop. Everything's good. Yeah. Let me try something, actually. I think I might have noticed something. I'm going to run this again, and let me dig through the stack trace here. So create standard IO session yields a session. File here. Create session yields a session. MCP shared exception, connection closed. Okay. If that's it, I'm going to probably freaking missing commas. Dude. I really hate this format for executing stuff like this. Alright, hold on. Let me stop this real quick. Stuff is actually happening now. But now we've got new errors. So there was a little fucking missing comma. Thank you, Ford. Jeez, man. That's one of the reasons why I kind of hate this format, is for stuff like that. So let's break down what happened real quick for anybody who's not familiar. So this comma right here was missing. What this did is essentially concatenated these two into a single line, is what it did. So it wasn't able to find a container called Anthropic API key browser use latest. Actually, I take it back. It was able to find an event. It thought that this all was a giant environment variable and that no Docker container was passed to it. All right, we're getting new errors here, but let me go ahead and let me kill the ones that we've got up and running. So this one's running. You go away. Let's do a Docker PS real quick. All right, one thing running is robo pages. That is fine. Over here. Yeah, I mean, this is the exact same thing. Close these out. We don't need them anymore. We do need that. That should be running just fine. In fact, I'm going to kill it because I don't need it right now. All right, let me run this again. And as soon as I start seeing it throw errors, I'm going to stop it so we can just take a look at what it's doing here. Okay, kill that right there. Bring this up. All right. So first thing I gotta look at is, I need to know what this error here is doing. Can't believe it's a freaking missing comma, man. Okay. Loop run until complete. Yeah. So I thought that was the I thought that was the function we were using. I haven't had to deal with async too much in Python, so this is a little bit stretching my my wings here. So the run until complete, unlike async IO run, does not clean up async generators. This is documented the standard. Okay. Anyway, so let's take a look. So browser use threw an error here. Launching new local browser Playwright Chromium failed. Failed for unknown reason. Data profiles default created with V. Try using a different browser version/channel, or delete the user data dir. Start over with a fresh profile. I mean, that should be fine. That's weird. No such file or directory here. Oh, it's because our Docker container, I thought it had Playwright and Chromium installed with it, so maybe we don't. But hey, we're making progress now. Can I rename this session? Yeah, let's call this LangGraph server. I can do one here. So we're running here. Actually, you know what I meant to do? I could do this in one step. I'm going to override the entry point here. Masterism, thank you for coming online. And I hope everybody is having just an awesome Sunday. Ah, crap. did interactive, but I forgot something. We have to do an IT because we need a sudo TTY. There we go. So we don't have Chrome installed? Is that it? Let's see. CD to the home directory. Interesting. So for some reason, Playwright is missing its Chrome install here. That is absolutely not correct, because when we went through the Docker file, it was installing everything. We saw it install Chromium. Let's see. It bundles the following dependencies: Python 3, Pip, Playwright, Chromium, and browser use. Yeah. So here's our package dependencies. And then we install Nano. Oh, okay, so browser dependencies should be auto-installed by Playwright install. Yeah, here we go. So Playwright install with deps. No shell, and it's going to install Chromium. So why is our... So our working dir is /app. Oh, is that the issue here? Let me break out of this. Let's see. So the issue we're running into here is it's not, for some reason, it's trying to find... Here we go. So, yeah, but here's the issue, Master, is that it's trying to find home browser use cache MS Playwright. This .cache file, for some reason, does not exist. Yeah, see that? So it's trying to connect over to it, get a list of the tools, but when browser use pops up, it's trying to find a browser that doesn't exist. It should have been installed as part of Playwright in here. You see, now there were two different documented ways for building this. Oh, where's the GitHub code? If we look in the Docker file here. So maybe we should try it with this, with the build base image sh. So this directory contains optimized Docker build system for browser use, which achieves a sub 30-second build. So we could do a standard build here. We could also do Docker file fast. Which this is what we did. It was slower, but was self-contained. This should have worked just fine. Let's go try this method here. Let's go try building this base image. All right, actually, I want to go look at something. So the Docker build fast it doing differently here? Oh, here we go. That's what it's doing. This is probably building a... Let's go look at Docker again. Look at Docker. And then build base image. I think we'll try this real quick. Let's just see what it's doing here, because I don't see... Where's the actual Docker build command? Ah, here we go. Command is Docker build. Target args are here. See what it's doing. This should still work though. Let's do something. Come back here. I actually want to try something now. I want to back out the change we made to the Docker file. So I'm going to take this out. Let's come right here and let's do entry point. And this is just going to be, I think it's browser tac use. I believe that was it. Yeah, browser tac use. So what I did is I just restored how this used to be from that entry point file. Because now that I do this, let's do this and let's do... Actually, take that back. No, that was what I wanted. There we go. So I'm going to clear this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the current browser image. Ah, there's a container using it. Exit, clear this out. There we go. It couldn't delete the image because there was already a container active using it. So we've wiped that out. And then now let's do our build process. Now what I want to do is, let's look here. I'm trying to see if I see anywhere where Playwright might be using this. So I see a .config file, but I don't think that's in there. There it is. There's Chromium. And there's our browser use mounted over to data. What was the account that was trying to access? There we go. For some reason, it's trying to find... It looks like it's trying to find this over in cache instead of in config. See that? Oh, never mind, because that's our Chromium cache reports. But still, it doesn't matter because it's still missing part of it in here. Let me try something real quick. Let's do... I want to do this. Docker build, remove cached layers. Here we go. Because what I want to do is, what's happening now is when it builds, so we come up here, notice how it skipped a lot of these steps, right? All these ones that say cached. Well, cool if they're caching. It's registering what cached based on what changed in the Docker file. We only changed the last line of the Docker file. So all this somewhere in here is where things got jacked up and it didn't install the Chromium browser. So what we're going to do is we're going to purge that cache and then we're going to try and build it again. Docker builder prune. This is from 2019. I don't know if that actually still works. Let me exit out of this. Yeah, that's an old syntax. That's not going to work. I'd say I had never seen that command. Actually, hold on. Remove build cache. Well, heck, I'd be able to give it a shot. Let's see. Docker builder. Ah, there it is. So it actually was builder. I didn't even think that was a real command. All right. Docker build proof. Let's clear that out. Bye-bye, build cache. So long. Thanks for all the headaches. Ooh, that was a lot. Cleared up 6 gigs doing that. Nice. Try something here. I want to try this build base images option. Failed to resolve, failed to compute cache key. Because pyproject.toml was not found. What? Right there. When they said to build this, though. Yeah, you're supposed to run it from the root there. What the heck, man? Building smalls. Yes, phishing and social engineering are generally considered part of penetration testing. And red teaming, too. It's just the degree of sneakiness you're trying to get with one or the other. Dang, it's almost 10 o'clock already. My, where the time goes when you can't find the damn missing comma. Alright, so for some reason I don't know why that's not building, but... we'll just do it the hard way. Docker build. Let's see, tac t, and then we'll call this. What did I call this? Browser use? Let me see. Dazcode, thank you for coming online. Welcome in, and hope you're having a happy Sunday. All right, let's see. Browser use. There we go. Build. Build, you varmint. Why are you using cached layers? You're not supposed to have any cached layers. You are pissing me off. Or making me very, very angry. Yes, delete the build cache. Build it. Is it always this tedious all the time? Actually, phishing can be very tedious. It can be a big pain in the butt. Typically, what you try to do though is you try to make things where you can easily modify them, get them up and running and spun up fairly quickly, so you can try to reduce the tedium. So that's where automation, and a lot of people want to admit this, but just general IT practice is what's so important here. Whenever you're doing anything, this is for a project where I'm building something and developing it. So in theory, let's say I was building a phishing platform to try and help automate that kind of work for my day-to-day business activities, right? Yeah, I would totally want the tedium here kind of front-loaded, where if I have an error, cool, I know how the program, where the operations are working, I can go make modifications. We actually have an in-house team that does that. They handle a lot of stuff, but one of the things they do is they handle our internal system deployments, where they've got a really cool platform set up where we can easily go spin up different types of servers. If I need a Cobalt Strike server, if I need a Mythic server, if I need a phishing server, bam, I can just go spin them up, run some Ansible playbooks, and then boom, we're good to go. And so it's really cool having them there with that dedicated knowledge, because then when I run into issues, they're kind of just not on standby. They're working on other stuff, but they can very easily go slot into what we're doing, make modifications or troubleshoot, fix bugs, and then slot back out, and we can keep on to hacking. So we kind of front load a lot of that tedium into automation. That way we can just spend more time hacking stuff. That's what I'm getting paid to do. Hack stuff and write reports. Hack stuff and write reports. This is so weird. Why is this not dumping out of here? Let's see. Docker purge build layers. Is it literally that? We just need the TAC A option here? Docker builder. TAC H. Let's see. Internal and all front-end widget. Fine. Wipe them all. Yes. There we go. Maybe now. Now it's doing it. Notice how before it was just like zipping through this? It's because essentially every line that executes in a Docker file is considered like a layer. And it just layers them all, it compresses them down in a diffing fashion, and then builds the final image for you to use. So you can cache these layers. So if you change something, you want to put stuff that's going to be more static at the top of your Docker file than you have the variable stuff at the end. Because then you can use those caches to skip a lot of the steps and just do the parts that change. If you've got stuff that's going to change constantly and you put it at the top of the Docker file, then every preceding layer has to change after it. And so thankfully, this should be fairly quick if it worked. It looks like something went wrong the last time we built it, and we didn't get the Chromium browser. So that's what we're fixing right now. Have to build a stalker mentality for this kind of thing. All right, come on. Give me the browser. Und you will install the browser. Okay. That built pretty fast. We may need to go modify the Docker file too, like, because for some reason when reading through the Docker file, it said, hey, this should install with Playwright. See, so if we look at the Docker file here, so this is install Chromium using Playwright. So no. No way. Okay, hang on. Let's run this container. We're gonna go take a look at it here. All right, let me override the user. We are gonna come in as this, but we're gonna come in as the user root. Okay. So if we cd right here, right? Well, this is our root one right here. So the error we were getting from here was saying home browser use cache MS Playwright. So if we come back in here, we don't have a cache in here either, though. Weird. Well, I don't think this is going to work, but out of sheer luck, let's try it real quick. And it's probably going to spaz out again saying it cannot find... Oh, that is not right. Oh, it's because I changed it. I forgot. MCP. There we go. We needed to add that to it. God, I can't believe that missing comma jacked everything up. Oh, well, at least I understand a little bit more of what it's doing now in the event loop. Going on those weird, detracted side quests where you're trying to troubleshoot stuff, believe it or not, as sucky as they are, that's also where you learn a lot. You learn a lot from the misadventure. So weird. Okay, let me launch back into the container. Cool. Find name Chromium. Then send all the standard out to dev null. Wait, we literally have something in here called Chromium browser? So that's really weird. Why is it trying to default to this odd thing over here? So something obviously got jacked up. So I think we can safely conclude the Docker build is foobar, and that is a technical term. You think Chromium has to launch once to create the cache? I don't think so, because, and the only reason I say that, Ford, is because, I took it off the screen here, but because Chromium should have to run to already have that in there. And look right here, so it even says we're installing the Chromium apt packages and binary to root Ccache MS Playwright. Right, like, so we're installing it over there into cache. Yeah, so here's our Playwright install with dependencies, no shell, Chromium. Let me try something here real quick. Let me do something. You're not supposed to do the mouse here. Grep Playwright. There we go. Here we go. So I want this command right here. What I'm going to do is, actually, I'm going to run the Docker container again. You know what we're going to do? I'm going to run this. Yeah, so something is funky in the Docker file. Something is rotten in the state of the Docker file. So now if we look in root.cache, there it is. So for some reason, that sucker is just completely not installing. Browser use, you're breaking my heart, bro. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to fork this. And then we're going to delete browser use. So let's do... Yep, delete that. And then room tac A, I'm going to delete... Damn it. I'm going to delete out all the build layers. Did I already delete that? There's browser use. All right. RM tac RF to resume maker. All right, so those are gone now. Because what we're going to do is we're actually going to go modify. We're going to git clone this and make our own modifications to it. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm just going to come right in here and modify this Docker file. Because I think what is happening is the way they have some of these comments interspersed between the commands is what's jacking it up right here. We're going to install Playwright using pip, install Chromium using Playwright. Hey, Bobby, what's up, man? That's what I need to go run to the bathroom, guys, and then we're going to try and fix up this Docker file because we know that this part right here is jacking up and is not doing something correctly. For some reason, install with dependencies is just absolutely getting BTFO'd. So I'm going to go run and get some water and go to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll finish fixing this up. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Guess who's back? Back again. Blaise is back. Tell a friend. Seriously, tell a friend. Have more people come in here. I like it, because the more folks we've got, the more fun the chat gets. Let me check something real quick. What's our target? Sure. Docker. I think that's for build X. Yeah. So if you're not familiar with build X in Docker, what that does is lets you build, let's say, a Docker container on your system, but for a different architecture. Like maybe you're on a regular x64 processor and you need to build an ARM container. You could do that on here using build X. It will cross build it. See, it's a lot of this stuff in here that I feel like might be causing it to get jacked up. Maybe not, though. This is just installing our apt cache dependencies. Installing Chromium packages, binaries to Playwright. Okay. Oh, dang it. I didn't edit the file here. Let me edit this. I'm going to make one small change that I think might... You know what? I'm not going to make a change here. I'm going to cancel that. But I am going to clone this one. So we'll download the Blaise Bits fork of it. What I want to do is take this out. I want to break this up because I feel like for some reason this might be messing it up. I don't fully get what this is doing right here. So here it looks like it's installing, right? We can literally see this command running. What's this run tac mount actually do for a Docker build? Why is everything switching to light mode? Ugh. Okay, so now let's try this again. There's Chromium. Let's go see if we actually got this. Yeah, so that's really weird. That one change, for some reason, seems to have fixed it. And I don't even get necessarily what that change was doing. That's just crazy. So literally all we did was just broke those lines up. If this works now, that's going to be one of the dumbest fixes ever. Moment of truth. Let's see if it runs. Okay. That's right. So it's still looking for it in browser use. Let's go see if that is there. Wait, that's not right. Yeah, so that one's non-existent because it's trying to install it as root, but also trying to get it from browser use. So we still have some more work to do in the Docker. So let's delete browser use out of here. Let's go bin that Docker file again. Because what we're going to need to do is we need this to install to browser use and not root. Here. I believe in Docker we can actually change where certain commands are being run. Let's see. Docker file run command add to user. Specify a specific user for the application, right? Switch back to the root user for privileged operations. So what we probably need to do here is we probably need to update this and then actually run this playwright command here. So let's actually try that real quick. So we probably need to run this as the user, not as root. There we go. And then let me take this out so we don't run as root. Oh, we didn't rebuild it. That's all right. It should build real fast. There we go. All right. So now you see where the user browser use. So let's try this. Switching to the root user to install dependencies. Well, that suck. So we need some other way to redirect. We got it installing now, but the problem is it's installing as the root user, not as the browser user. So we need some other way to redirect it whenever it's running. Let's look in the browser use help. See if there's a way to do this. Maybe Playwright has functionality to do that. Playwright install user. What's the command we were running? playwright install. Well, actually, you know what? Let's just try this. No shell says do not install the Chromium headless shell. That's fine. And here we have that problem. I wonder if we would have that problem with... Let's try... Right, let me see here. So we create a specific user for the application. So we do user here. User, in this case, would be browser use. So we might just be able to use this user command beforehand for the playwright install. So we have some other stuff going on here. So when it installs our Chromium, so we clear out the app list, we export the Chrome binary, which is whatever the executable path is, and then we link Chrome binary to user bin Chromium browser and also apt Chromium browser. So for some reason, I don't get why Playwright is trying to use the one from the home directory instead of using the one from there. Hey, Noob, what's up, man? Happy Sunday. Because we can see what the problem is here. The problem is it's installing all this stuff in root, and it's trying to reference it from browser. So that's our app VNB browser use. So I want to vim that file. Vim not found. You're killing me, Smalls. VI not found. You better have nano then at least. Ugh. Hate nano. I'm surprised there's no way for us to tell browser use which one to use. Like where the Chromium instance is. Let's run browser in headless mode. We don't want that. That's our Chrome profile directory. We can also set the CDP URL. So all this is owned as root, but when we run this, we're running it as browser use for some reason. So there could be a little dirty thing we could do, which is, it looks like it actually may be working as root. So something that's completely like non-standard practice here is give it a tag U, and then we just tell it to run as root. If this works, it's really dumb and it's not a best practice, but let's see what it does. So it didn't like that. Wait, what do you mean that doesn't exist? We just verified that did exist. Hold on. Hold the phone. Let's root back into this guy. No way. Oh, for some reason, see that? We have chromium 1169. It's trying to find chromium 1179. Killing me, Smalls. Because the code base hasn't been indexed yet. I was like, couldn't you just use the base index from the one you forked it from? So from browser use MCP server, import main MCP async IO MCP main. This is coming from browser use MCP server. Here. Because for some reason there's a disconnect between which version of the browser it's trying to run and which one is actually available on the disk. There's our load browser use config, so maybe we'll have to set up a config file for it. I never thought getting a browser for this thing was going to be this much of a pain in the butt. There's a list of all of our tools there. That's the only thing for Playwright right there. What are we doing with our code? Let's see. Let's see. So, why is it mismatching here? What could be the cause of this? So we have chromium 1169. For some reason, Playwright is trying to find Chrome 1179. See if anybody's reported an issue with it. Page navigation. Create a temp file and locate this. Okay. Nope, nothing there. Let's see if there maybe it's a closed issue about this. Let's see. No, launching new local browser context. Playwright, Chromium, keep alive, user data. So you can delete config browser use profile default, reset the profile. It should work. Should be fixed in 053. This guy's still saying that 5.3 still has the issue. Well, and so he was saying this is an issue with where it puts the data dir. Nothing in there. This is very annoying. So we have 1179 installed. I don't think we even have this available, like in our home directory. Actually, we do. We have Chrome 1169. Let's try something. Let's see. So Playwright. Uses the one it's trying to use, however, is 1170. Somehow I doubt that's a typo. Browser version. And this is all the way back from 2020. So it sounds like there's a mismatch here between what Playwright wants versus what's being installed by the Playwright install command. Let me try something. I'm gonna comment these two out. I'm gonna run it again. And I bet we're going to get the same error, which is fine. Exit out of this. I'm going to rerun it real fast, but not as root. Get this out. Wait a second. We just saw that that was in there. Wait a second. So when I run this as root, it actually appears in there? This makes no freaking sense. That's weird, because just a second ago we saw that it was in there. This is so random. Is that version number a randomly generated append? It looks like it's a version number, Bobby, from what I can tell. And it looks like the version that Playwright is trying to find in the Python version of Playwright and the installed version of Playwright don't mesh. Actually, hold on. I remember seeing something in the Docker file here. That's something. Where is it? Docker file. So here we are. We're installing Playwright from pip. And it's parsing out the py project.toml. So for Playwright, it's looking for 1520. So it gets the patchwright version, the Playwright version, the patchwright version. So installing Playwright. And then down here's where it comes and actually does the install with it. So for some reason, the Playwright command and the version being installed are slightly out of sync. So let's go see. What is this? Patchwright. Patched an undetected version of Playwright testing and automation framework. It can be used as a drop-in replacement for Playwright. Really? Patchwright patches this leak by disabling the console API altogether. Oh, very interesting. So patchwright is a way to try to make this a little bit more stealthy. Wait a second. So are we running Playwright or patchwright for this? Dude, this is a bigger rabbit hole than I ever thought it was going to be. Look at something real quick. Let me see which versions actually got installed. Let's do HackBot. Right. This is called patch right. So we did install patch right 152 and playwright 1530. Interesting that we're installing both playwright and patch right. So which one are we using though? That's what I'm trying to figure out now. Are we actually using patch right to try to be undetectable? Or are we using playwright? And so where's the version conflict coming in? Where are we actually making use of this in? Oh, what just happened? Oh, that's funny. So if you've got patch right, it's using patch right. If you've got playwright, it's using playwright, it looks like. That's kind of weird. Let's go back over to the Docker file real quick and see. Well, either case, it shouldn't matter because if we look at this right here, we see that we've got local references to it, but for some reason, MCP is not using this, whatever it's loading it up. So if we could just get MCP to use at Chromium browser, I think we'd be set. I know there's a way to set a config file. This is for using MCP. I thought browser use also supported its own config file. Let's go look in the docs. Supported models, agent setting, browser settings. Browser use uses playwright or patchwright to manage its connection with a real browser. So to launch or connect to a browser, pass any playwright browser use configuration argument you want to browser session. But if we're using this with MCP, actually, tell you what, let me look at the MCP server here. Because we probably would have to go set this either in the server. So here's our available tools. We can browse, navigate, go back, click on something, check the type, scroll, get the state. Let me go try this real quick. Because we saw this in the Docker file as well. Yeah, so even in here, it's trying to use 11.7.9. This is coming from browser use browser session. So where is it getting this from? We import browser session from browser use, import async.io, async.io run browser session, and we start it, and then we check the version. All the debuggings. Whoever said debugging's not fun, there's no sense of fun. Something we need to check is that if this profile was created, try using a different browser version or channel, or delete the user data dir for a fresh profile. Let me look at this real quick. I'm going to actually delete this file right here. Didn't like that. Did we get that file back though? We did. File not found. No such 1179. So we're launching a new browser with Chromium. The default user data dir, spawning the Chrome subprocess listening with CDP. We get an error saying it cannot find built for unknown reason with user data dir. We try something. HackBot. What version are we? Let's double check something. Which version we've got up? So we're running 0.5. This sucks. How are we gonna troubleshoot where this is coming from? Hang on, let me check something. We have Chrome 1169 in here. It's trying to find 1179. Bobby coming in hot. Let's see what he's got here. Are you running in Docker? Any other details? We're running version 149. So he's trying to run Chromium 1140 in here. Can't find it. Running Playwright install. It's executed inside Docker. Python library is just greater than 148. Found a temporary solution fixing this inside the Docker file, which is to install a particular version of Playwright. Seems like your Playwright install and Playwright uninstall commands are correctly installing Chromium 1148, which corresponds to Playwright version 149. However, when you run the Python script that uses Playwright, it needs a different version of Chromium, which is 1140 build, which corresponds to Playwright 148. Yeah, okay. Probably installed because Playwright greater than 148 requirement. I'd recommend reconciling a single Playwright version. I'm not sure, Bobby, because whenever we set up Playwright here, right, it's coming through and it's trying to get the version of it here. After we do the Playwright install, and then it sets it up, and that seems to, or actually, let's go double check this. Let's see if app Chromium browser actually does exist here. So this is pointing to 1169 here. And we do have that there. And just for a quick sanity check, that should come back. Don't have the file command. That is probably binary right there. So let me try this. UV pip list pipe rep, right? So we're using Playwright or Patchwright 152.5. So let's see which version for Patchwright do we need. Wait, let me go back here. Which version did I say? 152.5. Interesting. So this one's only up to 1520. Python dependencies, man. So Patchwright is supposed to be a forked version of Playwright that's supposed to be stealthy against bot detectors. And so it looks like you can use Patchwright or Playwright with it here. So like I said, with the right setup, Patchwright's currently considered undetectable. Patches BroDetect, Cloudflare, Casada, Akamai, Shape, or F5. So all these different detectors, it's currently passing. But that does answer my question. Let's see. Browser use with Patchwright. So in the Docker file, are we installing Patchwright? Yeah, it is kind of cool, man. I think it's neat. What I'm trying to see now, though, is here's where Patchwright's coming in. So we install both. From the docs here, we can set the executable path if we were running it this way, but for some reason with the MCP, it's just running like absolute dog doo. Browser use MCP. Let's see, so this is in our browser types, playwright or patchwrite. What does this command do? Python, I think I know what that's doing. That's what I was thinking, Daz. I just wanted to know. It's in here, it looks like... So from line 6, browser as patchwrite. So I guess if we didn't have patchwrite, it would just be playwright in here. Yeah, that's kind of what it looked like. I fully admit I am not a great coder. That was actually part of this whole exercise. So, was to make sure I could become a better coder. Hacking on code, modifying it, turning exploits into just scanners to make sure I could see if I know what all's affected by it. All that's good. Writing code from scratch is actually something I'm not good at. That was part of the main goals of this entire exercise, which it has helped a ton. But there's some syntactical sugar that I wasn't sure about. This, I kind of assumed I knew what it was doing. Like you said, shortcutting it, favoring patchwrite over playwright. Makes sense because if patchwrite is the stealthy browser version, then we'd want that so that we're just not getting bot detected by our browser looking suspicious like it is playwright the entire time. For grins and giggles, let me try something. So we have a playwright command in here. And we have a patchwrite command. Might be a dumb question to ask, but this installs playwright using pip, installs chromium using playwright. Does patchwrite have an install? It does. Let me do something real quick. Kitty. There we go. So I set a password for root because I'm going to need it in just a second. I'm going to su to browser use to that user. Where are we? We're in home browser use. Okay. There we go. A little bit better. All right. So now I'm going to try something real quick. Rather than using playwright to install it, what if we used patchwrite to install this? Where is this? I want to try something here. So, kitty. Doing some installage. We now have an MS Playwright in here. It's still running Chrome 1169. See that? Which is what we had over in root, and which was causing the entire issue because it wants to try and find Chrome 1179. So, let's see if we can do something. Which version of Playwright matches Chrome 1169? Nice. This is not what I wanted. What I wanted was a list of which browsers see. Playwright and matching browser versions. And then let me try one more thing. What version of Chrome is 1169? Dude, this was funny that it matched that. Chrome CPU issue 1169. That's all right. Let me check one more thing. Which version of Chrome are we using? Let's see. UV pip list. I forgot exactly. Damn it. So we're using Playwright 153. This matches Chrome 137. So we might just have to try maybe back down Playwright's version. Because we look in the Pi project, we don't even have the less command in here. You're freaking killing me. There we go. So this is saying anything that is Playwright 152.0 or greater. Okay. So as long as we're matching Playwright 152, we should be good. So here's version 152, 151. Okay. So let's try swapping that out. So rather than installing Playwright 153, let's try locking that to 152. Let's see. Actually, I don't even know why I'm doing that, because what we can do is just Playwright. Here we go. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lock that to 152. Maybe pip update. Damn it. Blaise, hey man, doing all right. Oh shit, I just noticed that it is after my time to normally kill the stream, but I'm gonna see if I can get this set up real fast. Let's see. UV, let me see. Reinstall. After version. Let me see that. Dude, actually, the swear jar has been working really well for me to cut down on my cussing. Because it was getting really bad, and Honey Badger was, like, copying me. Like, "Urgh." So I've had to back it down. So the goal is every time the swear jar hits an increment of 50, that is $50 I have to go donate to, like, St. Jude's or something. I have another charity in mind. I haven't decided yet, but that's the idea. Doc G Money, hey man, hadn't seen you in a while. Let's see. Glad to see you're still doing the thing. What's the current project, dude? We're working on an AI hacking bot. So since I'm not real big on playing CTFs, I decided we'll go make an agentic AI system to go play the CTFs for me. Dude, it's been a lot of fun. So what the idea here is, I don't have any of the normal tooling up right now because we're working on making a browser that the agent can use and spin up in Docker and be able to just use it and play the CTFs through that browser, right? However, the issue is finally got some stuff sorted out, but now we're running into an issue where Playwright that's used to manage the browser is having a version mismatch. So we've got a certain version of Chrome installed, Playwright is expecting a certain version of Chrome to be installed, and the two are colliding. So that's what we're trying to resolve real fast. UV pip install with requirements. Did we even have a requirements.txt? Yeah, so there's no requirements in here. Okay, so I can speak for reason. So while making UV pip install dot a no-op is likely not what anyone wants, UV run shouldn't reinstall the package every time. Let me just try this real quick. Maybe this will fix it up. All right, so now all right, cool. So before we were on Playwright 153, now we're on 152. So let's try our Python code again. We'll see if we get the same browser issue. Dude, if that fixed it... No way. Okay, so all we did was we changed it to we locked it to 152. Let me go look at something real quick. Which version? So 152 is locked to Chromium 13607. So I bet 1521. Oh no, 153. That goes to 137. I bet that's what will break it. Yeah, so PyProject, it's kind of like replaced what the old requirements.txt used to be. Yes! Things are happening now. All right, so let me do something here. I'm going to exit this. I'm going to delete the browser use edit. I'm going to vim the PyProject toml. We're going to come down here, and for Playwright, we're just going to make a quick addition. We're going to lock it to version 152. And then what we're going to do is we're going to rebuild the container. Hmm. Killing smells. Almost. Trying to rebuild the Docker container. It was not happy about it. I wonder if I need to wipe the cache when I do that. Let me wipe the build cache real quick. We'll try a fresh build of it. Because where we changed it, if something was wrong in those cached layers, that would make sense. Now, freak. All right. Well, we know what the next bug is to try and fix up on this. Maybe I really want to get this thing done. So maybe Tuesday night for the new stream, we'll kind of back it out a bit. I'll pick like the highlights from the week, and we'll hit those, and then maybe hop back into this because I just want to see the browser run. I really, really, really wanna. Because once this is up and running, we can actually start integrating it over to our agent now. All right. Unfortunately, guys, that is where I've got to call it for tonight. So let's see if anybody's over on InfoSec streams. Of course not. But I am still going to do my regular plug for InfoSec streams because it is a legit website. There's a lot more folks on during the daytime. I'm apparently the only night owl, which you wouldn't expect from a bunch of hackers, but they prefer to stream during the day. I don't know, just it's a daywalker thing. I give him beef about it all the time. Let's go see who's available. We might be able to go raid out to on the Twitch side. Let's see. Do anything? Do anything fun over in? You guys doing bot crypto trading? If you have any raid suggestions on Twitch, by the way, feel free to shout them out because I will totally take them. Yep, we gotta wrap this up, unfortunately. I'm finally starting to get my sleep schedule unjacked, so that's been a good thing. I've been amazingly lucid. Who's over in science and tech? Because I do love my science and tech folks. All right, Norpy. Hey, Norpy, if you start noticing that you're getting a lot of brain fuzz, make sure you're drinking water, man. Like, I've noticed that without enough water, my brain will it will hit a hard wall and then just gets out on me. So making sure you're staying hydrated. Mr. Horologist is on. Let's go take a look at him real quick. I'm not familiar with him. What is he making? Yeah, I love hardware crafting. Yes, we'll go give him a raid. Thank you for the suggestion, Pale. Okay. All right, guys. Unfortunately, that's where I've got to end it. I hope all you have a fantastic week. For those of y'all going into Monday, I would like you to crush it. For those of you who are already on Monday, continue crushing it. Show no mercy. There's no weakness in this dojo. Oh, spine machine repair? Awesome. Cool, man. I'm all about that. Especially, I wish I had a shop so I could do some more fun stuff hands-on. Then I got a little house, but it'll work out. But that is what I got for you guys. I will see you all on Tuesday night. We'll do hacker news. Maybe do a little bit of HackBot dev, trying to fix this browser up and get it, because we're so freaking close. Lots of code diving and getting into it, but we're almost there. So that's all I got for you guys. I want y'all to remember one of the awesome things. Thank you, Daz. I appreciate that. No excuses, just crush it. Play like a champion. That's right, Bobby. All right, guys, I've got to head out, but I want y'all to remember one very important thing, and that is I love you. Peace.